Alright, so this lesson will be covering ordering fractions and mixed numbers. So the first setup we'll do is if we have just all proper fractions. So if I am given 4 fractions, so I'm given 1/3, 2/5, 5/6, and 3/10, and I need to order them in ascending order. So ascending, once again, meaning from least to greatest. So my first step is to look, and we need to remember that it's easy to order or compare fractions when all of the denominators are the same. In this case, none of them are, so we need to figure out how to find the lowest common denominator. So our easiest step is to start with the largest denominator of 10, and the numbers that multiply to make 10, or the factors of 10, are 2 and 5. So that means that I can ignore the 5 when trying to find my common denominator. The next one is 6. The next lowest is 6. And so the numbers that multiply to make 6 are 2 and 3, meaning I can ignore the 3. So the lowest numbers that work for 6 and 10, well, I know that 2 goes into 6 and 10, so there is a shortcut. So 60 would work, 6 times 10, just like when we did comparing fractions. But because there is a common factor in the two, there's a shortcut. In this case, the lowest one is 30. So underneath each fraction, I'm going to write a new fraction with a denominator of 30. And just like when we were comparing fractions, we need to multiply the top and the bottom by the same number. So to get from 3 to 30, I need to multiply by 10. Which means I need to multiply the top by 10. To get from 5 to 30, I need to multiply by 6. To get from 6 to 30, I need to multiply by 5. And to get from 10 to 30, I need to multiply by 3. So I go back. 1 times 10 gives me 10. 2 times 6 gives me 12. 5 times 5 gives me 25. And 3 times 3 gives me 9. Alright, well, now that I have my new fractions, I can order them because all of my denominators are the same. So 9 is the lowest, so that is first. 10 is second, so that's 2, 3, and 4. So what I need to do now is convert them back into the original fractions and put them in order. So first one is 9/30ths, and that was the same as 3/10. So first fraction is 3/10. Second was 10/30ths, which started out as 1/3. Next is 3, which was 2/5. And finally, fourth, we have 5/6. So remember, our first step is to find the lowest common denominator. Once we have that, multiply them to make equivalent fractions, and they're really easy to compare once they are all the numerators are the same. All right, so I'm going to give you 2 sample questions on the next page. Once you are done, you can pause the video, or once you've got the questions written down, pause the video until you're finished, and then resume the video to see the solutions. All right, so we've got 2 questions. Question number 1 on the left here has them going in descending order. Remember, descending means going from greatest to least, or going down. Question 2 is in ascending, so once again, going from least to greatest. So go through all your steps, find your common denominators. So pause the video now. When you are finished, resume, and we'll go over the solutions. All right, so we're going to look at our denominators. So the highest one is 10. So the factors of 10, or the numbers that multiply to make 10, are 2. So I can ignore 2 and 5. And the next one is 4. Well, I've already crossed off the 2. So the lowest number that works for 4 and 10, well, once again, 2 is a factor of both of them, so there is a shortcut, or a lower one. I could do 40 if I didn't see it, but we know using our multiplication tables that 4 goes into 20, And 10 goes into 20, so 20 will be our lowest common denominator. I'm going to multiply 5 times 4, because that's how I get 20. 4 times 5 gets me 20. 10 times 2 gets me 20. And 2 times 10 gets me 20. Alright, so 2 times 4 gives me 8. 3 times 5 gives me 15. 9 times 2 gives me 18. And 1 times 10 gives me 10. Alright, so ordering them in descending order, so greatest to least. So it goes 18, 15, 10, and 8. Sorry. And so 18 was the highest, so that is 9/10. 15 is next with 3/4. 10/20 was 1/2, which leaves 2/5 as our last one. All right, so looking at our next one in ascending order. Once again, we don't care about the numerators, just the denominators. And so we've got 6. Well, the factors of 6 are 2 and 3. We can skip those. So we've got to find the lowest number for 6 and 4. Well, when we look at those, we know that 2 goes into both of those, so there's a shortcut. So it is 12. Once again, if you didn't see 12 and you used 24 instead, that would work. It just means more multiplication and simplifying when we get to doing addition and subtraction. So 6 we're going to multiply by 2 to get to 12. 4 we're going to multiply by 3 to get to 12. 3 we're going to multiply by 4 to get to 12. And 2 we're going to multiply by 6 to get to 12. So 5 times 2 gives us 10. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 6 is 6. And this again is in ascending order, meaning from least to greatest. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we start with 1/2. Second is 2/3. Number 3 is 3/4. And 4 is 5/6. Okay, the next section of this video is ordering fractions and mixed numbers. So the only difference in this is that some of the improper fractions will be given as mixed numbers, so we will need to convert them. So I'll give a quick review of that really quick. So if we get 2 and 1/3, so essentially what that means is I have 2 full boxes, and there are 3 in each box. So I would have 2 full with 3 in each. And I would have 1 box left over that would have 1. So I would have counted all my pieces. I would have a total of 7. And my denominator stays the same at 3, because it's the size of the boxes. To figure those out, essentially what you would do is multiply 2 times 3, which gives me 6, add 1, which gives me 7, and so I would end up with 7/3. So you multiply your denominator and your integer, and then add the numerator of your leftover fraction. All right, so our first question will be 2 and 5/6, 5/2, 8/3, and 2 and 3/4. So once again, we ask ourselves each time we have a question, what sucks about this question? Well, there's 2 things. The first thing that sucks is we have mixed numbers. Second thing that sucks is we have denominators that are different. Well, let's get rid of the mixed numbers first, so solve that part. So I look, I end up with 2 times 6 gives me 12, plus my 5 would end up giving me 17/6. I don't need to do anything to 5/2 just yet. 8/3 is fine. And 2 3/4, well, I would do 2 times 4 would give me 8. 8 plus 3 gives me 11, so I have 11/4. All right, so I need to look again at the denominators, see if I can ignore any of them. So I've got a largest denominator of 6. Well, I can ignore my 2 and my 3 because those are both factors of 6. So it leaves me with 4 and 6. So I could use a common denominator of 24, but 2 goes into both of them, so there is a common denominator of 12 for all of them. So I'm going to multiply 6 by 2, no, by 6, 6 by 2 to get 12, 2 times 6 to get 12, 3 times 4 to get 12, 4 times 3 to get 12. Well, 11 times 3 is 33, 8 times 4 gives me 32, 5 times 6 gives me 30, and 17 times 2, well 10 times 2 is 20, 7 times 2 is 4, so add those together, that would give me 34/12. So, I'm going to tell you, let's put these in ascending order. So that means from least to greatest. So my least is 30, second is 32, 33, and 34. So my first one, let's go straight up, was 5 halves. Number 2 was 32/12, so go straight up, that is 8 thirds. My third, let's go straight up, was 2 3/4. And finally it was 2 5/6. Alright, so I'm going to give you one sample question. Put that up there for a second for you to copy down. Alright, so your sample question would start with 3 1/2, 17/5, 15/4, and 3 1/10. So, pause the video, resume it when you are done, and I will go over the solution. Alright, so our first step, once again, what sucks about this question? Well, there's 2 things. First thing that sucks is the mixed numbers. Well, we can fix that. So I look, I'm going to do, there's 3 full boxes with 2 in each one, so that's 6 pieces, 3 times 2, and add my leftover, that gives me 7 halves, 17/5, I don't need to do anything with, 13/4, I don't need to do anything with, and 3 1/10. Well, there's 3 boxes with 10 in each, so that's 30. Add my 1, that gives me 31/10. Alright, so I'm going to look once again. My largest denominator is 10. Well, 5 and 2 are both multiples of 10, so I can ignore those. I need to find the lowest common denominator of 4 and 10, which would be 20. Once again, if you didn't see 20 and you did 40, you will get the exact same answer. You will just have larger fractions, and that is okay. So 2 into 20 would be 10. 5 into 20, we're going to multiply by 4. 4 into 20, we're going to multiply by 5. And 10 into 20, we're going to multiply by 2. So 7 times 10 would give us 70. 17 times 4, well 10 times 4 is 40. 7 times 4 is 28, so add those together. 68. 13 times 5, well 10 times 5 is 50. 3 times 5 is 15. 50 plus 15 gives us 65. Well, double of 30 is 60. Double of 1 is 2. So we end up with 62. And let's put these in. Sorry, I didn't actually tell you this. Well, most people would go, seeing as I didn't tell you, let's go in ascending order. If you did the opposite, that would be okay. Just as long as you have them in the correct order. So So in ascending, it would be so least to greatest. 1, so just in reverse order actually. So we put them back in order. So our first one is 3 1/10. Second is 13 quarters. Third is 17 fifths. And finally is 3 1/2. So there will be a sample question page also posted with the same title as this video. And if obviously you have any questions, feel free to contact me.